Hello and welcome back. Today is day 2 of our virtual VBS, Walking by Faith. I hope you enjoy it. Our memory verse for today is, "Then David said to the Philistine, 'You come to me with a sword, with a spear, with a javelin, but I come to you in the name of Yahweh, of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied.'" As I look at this stream, I'm reminded of the story of David. When David was just a young boy, Samuel the prophet came to his house, and God had sent him to find the next king of Israel. Now, Samuel was looking at all of David's older brothers, who are all big and strong and knowledgeable and so much older. But that's not what God was looking for. And each time Samuel would go to one of the brothers and put his hand up, God would say, no. So he kept going to each one, and God said no. Now, David wasn't there. He was out in the field. And so Samuel asked Jesse, "Don't you have any more children?" He's like, "Well, I've got my youngest son who's out in the field." And he's like, "Go get him." So he goes and he gets David and he brings him back. And he sees this scrawny little boy, and he's thinking to himself, no way, this can't be it. But he goes up and he puts his hand up, and God says, "Anoint him. This will be the next king of Israel." Now, after this, there was a fight between the Philistines and the Israelites. And all of David's brothers went to war, or went to the battle. And David stayed at home to tend the sheep. And one day, Jesse wanted to know what was going on. He wanted to know how his boys were. So he packs up a lunch and he gives it to David, and he tells him, "Go and find your brothers, see what's going on in the battle, and then come back to me." So David does as his dad says. And he finds his brothers and all the Israelites, and they're all in their tents. And he's like, "What's going on? Why aren't we in battle? These other Philistines, they're across the way over there, and they're yelling at us and calling us cowards and all this stuff, and we're in our tents. Why?" And they said, "Because of Goliath. Have you not seen that huge giant they have over there?" And David, he goes to Saul, and he's like, "Let me fight Goliath." And at first Saul laughs at him. He's like, "You're a scrawny little boy. You can't fight Goliath. Have you seen him?" But David is persistent. And so Saul says, "Okay, all right, put my armor on him." So they're putting all this heavy armor, helmets, and all the garb that he had to wear, and he gives him a huge spear. And David can't even move in this. And he's like, "No, I'm trusting God here." So he puts his spear down, he takes the armor off, and he's got this little pouch on his belt, and he's walking out toward the battlefield, and there's a stream. And he stops, and he picks up 5 smooth stones, not big ones, just smooth stones, and he puts them in his pouch. And he walks out there, and he faces Goliath. Now Goliath, he's laughing at him, and then he gets really angry. He's like, "Seriously, you sent a child out to fight me?" And David is telling him, "You have your sword and your spear, but I have God on my side, and I'm going to take you down." Well, you know what? Goliath charges toward David. And David takes his little stone out, and he puts it in his slingshot, and he pulls it back, and he lets it go. and it hits Goliath right in the middle of the forehead, and Goliath went down. David was small, but David had a heart that loved God so much that while he was out in the fields tending the sheep, he would play music and he would sing songs and praise to God. And God knew that he would make a great king. So even if you're little, don't think you can't do what God is asking you to do, because you can. And remember, yesterday we learned that God was there all the time. He never left their sides, and he never leaves our sides either. For we walk by faith, not by sight. Y'all want to say the prayer with me today? Here we go. God, my creator and leader, guide me along the path. I read the Bible, but don't always know the path you're guiding me down. I pray that you give me the faith to trust you. May I walk by that faith and not be tempted to take the path that looks the easiest. Be with me and guide me. Amen. See you tomorrow.